So we're pretty much picking up where we left off. Night 4, apparently. I don't know what that means. You know something strange by the front door of your haven. A letter has been slipped underneath the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. No name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear that it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. The note is short, terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You're cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. There's no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. Alright, so... Excuse me. Search for hope. I'm gonna actually have her... You need to rest. Oh, we did rest. Oh, okay. I'm confused, but I'm... I mean, I guess we'll meet the mysterious note before going to, you know, other people. I don't know. You haven't been to church since you became a vampire. Or kindred, as the euphemism goes. You've had to focus on a concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. You've learned the essentials of vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before, when you were much younger. Marvel at its gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. Prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You've quickly learned this is an essential skill for a vampire, how to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral's architect hits you as you walk between the pews. The architect meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory. Mission accomplished. Based on the note, you're assuming that whoever you're meeting is somewhere in the front. As you step closer to the high altar, it feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. Religion is superstition, vampires are satanic creatures. Does God still listen to you? It's been a long time since you prayed, and you wonder whether God listens to creatures like you. Fatalistically, you take a step, then another. You're not sure if your God is present in this cathedral, but perhaps it doesn't matter. You feel is real enough. There's an old man sitting in the front. You see only the back of his head. Bowed down in silent prayer, your footsteps echo on the floor, and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off of him. He's tall, dignified, white hair, balding, a few strands escaping on the sides. He's wearing glasses and simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm, pale, too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Perhaps unconsciously, you expect something like this as a vampire walking into a cathedral. It's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man, the priest. Welcome, my child. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you the kindness is not for the ones like you. Confront the priest. The only way to understand these painful feelings is to push forward and confront the priest. As you step closer to him, panic rises inside you. Emotions are hard to control. Fear, anger, pain, all trying to wrestle you in different directions. Away. Can I help you? Are you okay? Somebody still talks to you like he would a lost vagrant who has chosen to enter the house of God. How are you doing this? I'm afraid I don't understand. It's simply too much. You mutter something incoherent in your reply. You don't sound like a vampire, an undead being made powerful by immortal blood. You're just another sad, confused, lost soul. Turn around and stagger away, only feeling like yourself once you're back on the street outside. Stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smells of the city. Same as every night. How did it feel? You look at the man speaking to you. He's well-dressed, with a little archaic, dark-haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. Smiles as if he knows something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. Why does it hurt so much? That's the question I wanted to talk to you about. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benit Segal. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. He offers his hand to you. I mean, I guess the whole you must experience something, take it literally. You shake hands. His handshake is firm and dry. He looks at you intently as if trying to find something in your eyes. You mind sitting with me for a moment? It's to a park bench nearby in darkness because of a broken street light. Wary, you decide to follow him, only an enemy, totally unconcerned with the Masquerade, to attack you here. He sits down and you follow suit. For a moment you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. I know how it feels. What you felt. I've experienced it myself many times. For a moment, you consider how to respond. It's clear he sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup. Why did you invite me? What was the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here? Well, we share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later, but right now the important thing is that it's so much easier to show than to tell. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony, or see him, experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that? Is it a supernatural power? No, not at all. I don't think so. It's his faith that makes you feel like that. He's safe in his belief, while you are one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation? Stop to think. Of course you've wondered what this is all about, whether it's about God or nature. You don't really know what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the Masquerade. A human faced with human problems can go online and find something that helps. You can't. The Masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret, hidden away. You're left relying on unreliable opinions of people like Bennett. Suddenly, you take your hand and press it against his chest. He stares in your eyes. You feel his heart stop. My heart no longer beats, yet I move, I talk. Is that how God intended us to be? There's a natural explanation. I don't believe in the supernatural. There's a natural explanation for all of this. We just don't know it. Maybe there is. I don't know either. But I know that Father Anthony's faith is real. Sometimes I'm skeptical too, but in Father Anthony's presence, I know faith is real. I know it because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about faith and our kind. Yes, what are we? There is the usual story. Most of us believed, especially before modern times, Cain was the first murderer. As punishment, God cursed him to walk in darkness and carry his mark. Cain passed on his curse as he drank blood of the living, and thus we were born. God's curse passed on to someone new with each embrace. It's true. We all have our lineages, our sires, the sires of our sires. If you trace those lineages all the way back to the top, you can find Cain, the original vampire. I suppose God's cruel. The curse perpetuates itself, leading to new evils. This is a lot to take in. All these myths, hard to know what to believe. I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children. Anyone can have that conviction inside them. This is too much. You expect me to go along with all this insanity? He nods patiently. Let's meet again in a few nights here at the cathedral. We can talk more about your, after you've thought it through. You leave it sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you experienced. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true, but what does that mean? Can I do the other mentions? Yay! Okay. Yeah, why not? You know what to expect when you return to the small bookstore serving as Agathon's haven. The catacomb of occult imagery assaults you from the book covers displayed on the window, but under the fake facade, there's something real. This time, the Buddhist and satanic Bibles at the storefront seem almost funny. Or perhaps you've just started to tune into the dry humor of these Camarilla. Just as you're about to ring the doorbell, the door opens and Agathon storms out. You step aside just in time to avoid having him stumble into you. Welcome. What are you doing here? I came to help you. Like last time. Okay, fine, you're right, follow me. As he turns to go, he almost looks pleased that you're here. Agathon walks to his car with you in tow. It didn't occur to you the last time, but it's surprisingly pedestrian vehicle, an aging mid-sized family sedan. Imagine what it would look like with a baby seat in the back. Opening the door on the driver's side, Agathon notices your look. Laugh all you want, but it's inconspicuous and practical. You sit in the car and Agathon starts driving in his usual careful style. At least you'll never be stopped by traffic cops. It seems Agathon is not interested in small talk. What's this all about? I love a good mystery as much as the next vampire, but at some point you have to tell me what we're doing. Let me ask you a question. In return, have you ever tasted animal blood? From sheep, for example. No. The Earth's not the best place to hunt for wildlife, you know. You'd be surprised. There are plenty of pigeons, rats, dogs, cats. But your instincts are correct. Animal blood tastes vile. If it didn't, our own lives would be very different. Anyway, something to think about. You exit Manhattan over the Brooklyn Bridge and soon reach the site of a nightclub that seems to be your destination. It's on the riverfront, a converted former warehouse. At the start, you recognize the place, the club where the fate latched its cold, grubby hands on your soul. You want to party, but instead you become a monster. How's that for a hangover? After Agathon parks the car, it's time for you to enter the nightclub. Glance at the Camarilla, evaluating him. It's obvious that this is not his kind of place. There's a good chance the research notes are here. Well, let's go. Let's not waste any time. Excellent. There's a line into the club. It looks like a popular spot, even if, based on the crowd, this is not exactly a place for supermodels and celebrities. Charm the bouncer. You walk up to the man at the door and smile. I see our blood thing starting on the right side of the screen. Hey, you remember me, right? Mind if we go in? Bouncer looks at you, taken in by your supernatural charisma. It doesn't matter whether he really remembers you or not. Sure, go right in. Have a great night. You walk into the club, ignoring all the people standing in line. The music beats down on you, bringing with it the memories of a human existence. The first time you were dancing with friends, when you flirted with someone on the dance floor. This time it's different. You're a predator, everyone around you's prey. The packed, twitching sacks of blood and tissue. You sense the emotions all around you. Blood-tinted happiness, lust, rage, jealousy, love. A buffet of sensations. Focus. Keep an eye out for trouble while I look for what we came to find. You nod and follow Agathon through the throng, trying to ignore all the warmth, flesh, and circulating blood around you. Feeding opportunity. You decide that the opportunity to feed is handed to you, and it would be churlish to refuse. A young Latino man is dancing close to a beautiful, drugged-out girl. She takes his face in her hands and kisses him on the mouth. You slide close to them, sink your teeth into the man's neck. He moans for pleasure of the kiss, and the girl assumes it's because of her. You check to see that nobody is watching and lick the wound closed before disengaging and returning for Agathon. Find a young, intense woman pointing a finger at his face. Agathon, you traitor. Don't you dare stand between me and what's mine. You look at the woman in surprise. Her appearance stands in contrast with the anger in her words. Juno, you know Aisling will not let you leave with the notes. Perhaps she won't let you leave at all. Juno pulls close to Agathon's face and stage whispers loudly enough for you to hear over the music. You're still so brainwashed that you care about what Aisling effing Sturbridge wants. I'm done jumping through her hoops. I don't know what I saw in you, Agathon. You're such a lapdog. Let's not forget about the Masquerade. Look, are we sure we want to talk about all this in the middle of a dance floor? Do I look like I care about the fucking Masquerade? You look at Juno in genuine shock. Sophie, you understood the Masquerade is universal among the Kindred. Juno, you don't mean that. You're not suicidal. Watch me. Juno, please. Juno steps back, suddenly cold. Ignoring the people dancing all around her, she stares hard at Agathon. The past is the past. Traditions are dead to me. You won't stop me, Agathon. I'll make sure of that here and now. You know I have the power. No, Juno, please. Agathon sounds panicked. He's not worried about his own survival, but of the possibility that Juno is going to unleash a genuine Masquerade breach. Well, it's a good thing I just took a sip. Calm Juno down. Calling on the powers of your blood, you step closer to Juno, between her and Agathon. Agathon was being an a-hole. Don't hurt yourself just to get back at him. He's not worth it. Juno looks you in the eye, and you can see that she's tired and scared. Defecting from the Camarilla is not easy or safe. You're right. She turns to go and then stops and glances back at you. You should pick better friends. With that, Juno walks to the oblivious dancer towards the exit. Looking around, you realize that Agathon didn't stay to witness your exchange with Juno. Thanks, Agathon, for having my back. Sid, he worked his way around the dancing crowd, looking for the notes using his arcane methods. After Juno was gone, he returned, shaking his head. Notes were here, but not anymore. It's possible someone grabbed them when they were hunted here. After making sure Juno's nowhere to be seen, you and Agathon push your way back outside. Outside, you walk back to Agathon's car, drive back over the Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan, heading for Agathon's haven. Juno mentioned some very personal things. I trust your discretion is not discussing those things with Aisling. Of course. Your love life is your business. Thank you. After a while, you reach Agathon's haven and he parks the car. You walk to the occult bookstore and he invites you inside. The smell of incense assaults you as before, making you grateful you don't have to breathe. You follow him upstairs to find Aisling Sturbridge in an armchair reading an old book. Puts a bookmark in place as you come in. You were successful, I hope? No, I'm sorry. The notes were there at some point, but not anymore. That's a shame. Hope you don't run out of time. How did Sophie's little protege do? Agathon turns to look at you. Well, surprisingly well. That's a surprise. I'll have to compliment Sophie on her choice. We met Juno. Fortunately, she didn't find the notes either. That's interesting. The High Regent turns to look at you. What was your impression of Juno, fledgling? Angry. She was very angry. I don't know what you people did to her, but she's pissed. What we did. Careful now, fledgling. She made her own choices, bad as they were. Anyway, I have some things to discuss with Agathon. Run along now. Leave the occult bookstore, the cheesy, mystical music still in your ears as you walk away. You wonder what happened with Juno. Why she's so anxious to leave her clan. Did she really do that? Did you leave Sophie's surface if you wanted to? So I'm assuming you need rest. So basically we can only do one thing a night. Can't even go out and have a quick midnight snack. Oh well. Not long after you wake up, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. Hey, I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you. Well, my freedom was good while it lasted. Do you know what she needs me for? Any idea? I'm not in the position to ask. He smiles politely. The car's waiting, shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave, disappear, let Sophie finds somebody else to employ. But then you remember that the Anarch thug being cut down by Quadir, how close you were to the same fate. Not even a week ago. And it might still happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked onto one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it was here earlier, but she's behaving as if she's seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to both of you. A bit of irritation in her countenance that soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile. You're here. Excellent. Thank you, Gregory. The driver leaves, and she turns her attention to you. Hope you had a good few nights and made some new acquaintances, but I have to say I'm happy to see you, Locum. Thank you for coming. The change in mood of the room is so sudden and startling, it makes you consider the true power of vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine, expressing legitimate interest in you and your well-being. I have a request for you for this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery. She points to a statue at the side of the room. You notice a plain-looking flash drive lying on the edge where the inanimate archer bow touches the pedestal. The man you're looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all over New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I need you to take this flash drive and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the contents. They are encrypted. A precaution for if the data falls into the wrong hands, but it won't, correct? She gives you a smile that just a handful of nights ago would make you feel like melting. Oh, and Locum, Kaiser is a Nosferatu, that twisted, deformed lineage of Kindred. He's old, and his age has made him even more paranoid than the others of his clan tend to be. He holds many havens and changes them often. From what I've gathered, he or one of his servants should have found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You'll have to identify them somehow. I'm told Kaiser has spent many of his nights these past 2 years being driven around the city in a black limo. Maybe keep an eye out for it. That smile again, but much shorter. Any more on Kaiser? Why do you need to trade with him? Why don't you look for Kaiser yourself? Any more? Any more you can tell me about him? He's been here a long time, about as long as I have. Got into a lot of trouble for exchanging information with both the Anarchs and the Camarilla in the past, but ultimately got off scot-free. Kaiser's web of information proved to be strong enough to shield him from the consequences of playing both sides. Some say that's the best proof of his abilities. In any case, be careful when talking to him. He's very particular about everyone's etiquette except his own. Good night and good luck. Glasses one last smile at you and turns back to the painting. Clearly done with the conversation, you pocket the flash drive and head out towards Coney Island. It takes you a better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds of Coney Island's amusement park city. The drive is almost pleasant this time of night, thank God for Belt Parkway. There are plenty of people here tonight, but nobody who stands out as a traveling purveyor of secrets. And again, if they stand out, it would be kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do but figure out the right approach. Feed, opportunity, bum. Search for signs, ask around. Search for signs. Plenty of nooks and crannies to investigate around here, but if Kaiser frequents this area, has to be some sort of clue to grab onto, right? It's been a good hour snooping around, eyes peeled for the black limo Sophie mentioned, or any sign of the Nosferatu, or any vampire. It's their haven around these parts. Zilch. Annoyed, you turn back towards the lights of the amusement park, only to find a man standing in your way, wearing an oversized jacket. He had the air of a junkie or dealer about him. Who knows what he's got in his pockets? You lost? I'm looking for someone called Kaiser. You ever heard of him? I'm looking for him. Nah, don't know who that is. He's a terrible liar, clearly full of shit. Tell him Sophie sent you. Listen, I was sent here by Sophie Langley. She has something for him. Need to contact him and hand it over, nothing more to it. Don't know her, and I told you already. Don't know who Kaiser is either. He sees the doubt in your face. Stay right there. He produces his phone. It's a fancy model. Doesn't look like anything readily available on the market. Unlocks it, dials a number, 2 tones go by, a voice on the other end. Sorry to bother you again, boss, but yeah, I know how much you need your alone time. Sounds very nice. There's somebody here who wants to see you. They're with Langley. Sophie Langley. Yeah. A string of loud obscenities fills the phone. The man winces and pushes it away from his ear, and then the call stops. Almost immediately, a chime, the Count's laugh from Sesame Street. Wow. Announces a new message sent to the phone. He's, on his way. Don't go anywhere. Not 15 minutes pass before a black limo stops near where you're waiting. One door opens, an invitation. Inside the limo used to be a luxury lounge. The kind with a stripper pole, a bar full of alcohol, but it currently has none of that. Instead, there are monitors and consoles. There are dozens of displays, each one showing something different. Surveillance camera footage, stock market quotes, TV news, mails, tweets, silent movies, lo-fi footage of a gory torture session even. I wonder if the limo's owner can focus on anything while they're surrounded by all the visual noise. Realize there's nobody there, or is there? A man blinks into existence on a leather-covered couch, attempting to maintain something that approximates to a regal presence. You're 100% sure it's Kaiser. Surrounded by dimly lit computer screens, his features are even more ghastly than you imagine. All sharp angles of twisted bone, mangled flesh, and crooked teeth. He bears them in an awful parody of a smile. The doors close behind you.
So, the waste of good blood outside tells me Sophie Langley sent you, huh? Got something for me?
You reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket and slowly pass it to him. Plugs it into a USB port on the arm of his chair and displays the data on one of the screens that happen to be turned away from you. Takes him about a minute to access the data.
Who do you people think I am? I saw this footage a week ago.
He removes the flash drive and throws it back at you in disgust.
Tell Sophie the deal's off. She wants her address, she can give me something else.
A red one. I don't know how to feel about this one. I'm gonna pass and go ask him to take it the deal. You take on the most persuasive voice, amicable stance you can in what basically constitutes the lair of a megalomaniac monster. Come on, man, don't send me back empty-handed. Take the data and honor the deal. It'd mean a lot to me. The sound of the Nosferatu produces is supposed to be laughter, you think. You're pretty sure he'll fall over and die at any second if it's anything other than that.
Oh, look at me. I'm so pretty and well-spoken. I'm gonna feed you this bullshit and going to cram it in and ask for seconds. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I should do to you for trying to pull that trick on me. I should mutilate your face, rub sulfur into the wounds, rip your tongue out and use it to stuff a fucking turkey. Only see, I'm in a gracious mood tonight, plus I hate turkeys. They disgust me. So I'm going to give you a chance to make this little transgression up to me. I'll contact you. Maybe even throw in that stupid address so Langley can shove it up her. But right now, unless you want me to get really pissed off, show yourself out.
You're pretty sure you're done here. You get out, close the door behind you, and the car immediately starts backing up. The opaque windows slide past you, and soon the limo is on its way. Kaiser's lackey is nowhere to be seen, so you make your way to your car and drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings. I might have enough time for one more mission. One more visit to the Country of Five Boroughs, and Agathon, who is starting to be surrounded by the smell of danger. Or we could switch it up and just be introduced to someone new. Let me do this. All. That's interesting. Alright, let's do this one for Whittier. As you make your way down to Clinton Street, the incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. You stop in, taking a familiar bouquet of Hudson, made all the more potent by your recently sharpened senses. Across the basin, the Red Hook grain terminal rears its rusty frame. Once a bustling industrial area, now a sleeping giant splayed out on the riverbank, forgotten, abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Keeping to the shadows, you sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past hole-ridden silos, wobbly chain-link fences. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, you can almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy at the back of your throat. Not getting your hopes up, you give the door a slight nudge. Surprise, it all gives almost instantly. Looks like someone's been using it recently. Once in time, you find yourself a large, empty hall. Looking around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. You notice a set of stairs leading up to a mezzanine, most likely an office space, and then you see it. Faint light coming from one of the upper rooms. Looks like you're in luck. Quietly, with bated breath, you climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. The door creaks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office. With crooked window blinds, and overflowing ashtray, and paper scattered across a wooden desk. Suddenly it hits you, that nagging feeling that this is all too convenient, too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. A plume of cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder. The barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. A raspy voice whispers in your ear.
Let me guess. Took a wrong turn at the third silo?
Make him stand down. Driven by a strange hunch, you open your mouth. You hear yourself talking, but the words are not yours. They seem to be coming from the deeper recesses of your memory, a movie you saw as a child, and you don't know why, but it seems oddly appropriate. The way you're thinking. This punk ain't got nothing on me. I'm sitting pretty on a loaded Colt Detective Special, 5 in the cylinder, 1 in the chamber, and I only need the 1. As corny as it sounds, the stranger seems oddly receptive to your tough guy monologue, so you decide to bump it up a notch. Focusing your will, you boost your aura, filling the room with your presence. Your voice becomes smooth, oozing with charisma, regular Sam Spade. You yourself can help but feel a sense of awe, like the stranger feels it too. But then there's this nagging feeling. What if there's more to this guy than he lets on? What if he's got me right where he wants me? Maybe I should hear what he has to say.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, how about we drop the tough guy act and talk like adults? You can always shoot me once we're done. For a few tense seconds, the room grows quiet. So quiet, in fact, you could swear you can actually hear the smoke swirling in the air. Finally, the stranger speaks again.
You got a point there, kid.
In a strange interplay of light and shadow, the stranger reappears behind his desk. Seeing him in his full, lack of a better word, glory, you can't help but smirk. This is the dreaded Nosferatu? The way Sophie described them, you were expecting some grotesque monstrosity, but this guy blows the swagger, the hard-boiled detective routine, and all comes down across as a bad joke. Still, Comes to appearance, his lineage is undeniable. From 30 feet away, he could probably pass for a bum with a nasty skin condition, but 5 feet away, he looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away. He leans back in his chair, casually pointing his gun at you.
So, what brings you to my humble office?
Are you D'Angelo?
That's my name, kid. Don't wear it out. My friends call me Jim, so you best stick to D'Angelo for the time being. Now, I suggest you tell me what this is all about, otherwise I'd kindly ask you to, get out of my office.
I can see why Quadar keeps you charming. His expression sours.
Not a name you want to casually toss around, kid. But hey, I get it. You're not some random smuck who wandered in here off the street, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however.
I know, I'm here to help. The Red Hook murders, I know. I want to help you catch the killer. His moldy lips twist into a smile.
Do you now?
He lowers his shades for a few seconds, sits motionless with his eyes fixed on you, suddenly raises his gun, almost making you flinch, almost. Then he twirls it into his shoulder holster, a flashy display that definitely looks like it was practiced a lot in front of a mirror. You see the Nosferatu's lips move, but the quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue.
Sure, they seem to care. What was the end game? What was their angle? Everybody's got one, even if they pretend like they don't. Actually, then, what the hell? Maybe this town finally got to me.
Pauses, sticks a fresh cigar between his crooked teeth.
Maybe a good leap of faith is what the doctor ordered.
Offer him a light. As he reaches into his pocket, you flash a lit lighter before his eyes. Or maybe you could use a healthy dose of unhealthy. For a split second, he gives you a puzzled look, leans in over to your lighter, puffing on the cig. It catches fire, a wry smile comes back to his lips.
I like you, kid. Might look like a used car salesman, but there's just something about you. Tell you what, I was just about to head back to the crime scene, take a look around, refresh my notes. Tag along if you want to, I could use an assistant. Someone take notes, make wild assumptions for me to shoot down. Who knows, if you're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement.
Sounds good.
Sure it does, kid. I'm the one who said it. But just one thing. You still got me at a disadvantage here. Seems like you've done some digging on me. But with you, I've barely scratched the surface. You catch my drift? So answer me this. Who was it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or in layman's terms, who do you work for?
Sophie Langley. For the first time since you got here, the Nosferatu adopts a look of genuine surprise. His eyes wander for a moment, finally giving way to a crooked smile.
So you're the one, huh? The fledgling Toreador Dame spared. Yeah, that would make sense. She'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Thanks for being up front, kid.
One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you're about to look around, he reappears right next to you, up close. His smile is even more unnerving.
All right, moonlight's burning. Let's get cracking.
With a certain fascination, you watch him stumble his way across West Brooklyn. Oddly animated, incessantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for about a mumbling narration. He is most certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take a particular note of the fact he seems to be choosing the darker, less frequented streets. There's definitely a method to his madness. Eventually, your leprous guide takes a sudden turn off of Van Brunt Street and into a particular dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are a dead giveaway. This has to be the place.
Well, here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes. This is where they found him, drained dry, not a drop of blood in him. Before you ask, no, I didn't get to see the body, so I don't know if there were any bite marks. So, what can you tell me?
You take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline on the pavement, the man was killed recently. Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera. You know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast or that thorough. Looking up, you notice a spray-painted sign on the wall. It reads, "The blood speaks," in big, crooked letters. You looked at D'Angelo, the Nosferatu, gives you an expecting look. You're the detective, you tell me. How come there's no blood? That a graffiti looks like a clue. You point at the spray-painted sign. Well, that looks like a clue.
Sure, kid. Might as well start with the elephant in the room. What do you think it means?
Give the sign a good, hard look. It's no Rembrandt. The writing is jagged, clearly done in a hurry. Seems desperate.
My thoughts exactly. It's as if someone wanted to get a message across but too scared to stick around and write the whole damn book. So we got the abridged version. Then there's no the blood, or lack thereof. Given that the murder was committed right here and the victim didn't make a sound, we can therefore conclude that,
The killer's a Kindred.
Bingo. Only a Kindred could drain a human this quickly, this quietly. Tell me, you would have guessed which clan would you say our killer belongs to?
Shit. Camarilla. We've met them. I want to go with no on that one. I want to go with Thin Bloods. Malkavians, I actually don't know. So, I'm going to take a guess. This was the Thin Bloods written all over him. He smiles approvingly.
In bright neon letters, a fully fledged Kindred would use his powers to lure the victim somewhere out of sight. He certainly wouldn't stick around for the shitty art project.
Pauses. It's out the mangled remains of a cigar.
Shit. Looks like we gotta pay Larson a visit.
Why him?
Gee, kid, I don't know. Because he's just a swell guy to talk to. Maybe because he's the thin blood primogen. Not sure if he knows who the killer is, but you could probably make an educated guess. In any case, we'd be doing him a favor if it turns out one of his violated the Masquerade. In a hell of an awkward position. I mean, shitting upside down awkward. It's the kind of weakness that the other primogen would love to exploit. His position in the council is bad as it is.
Pauses for a moment and mumbles to himself, but it's too quiet for you to make out while he lights up a fresh cigar, takes a puff, and lets the smoke escape through his crooked smile.
Alright, kid. Let's get this over with.
Compared to the industrial ugliness of Red Hook's Sterling Place, is quite a change of scenery. The heavy, gentrified, and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at, blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, the Nosferatu stops. It seems like he's taking a deep breath, steeling himself for the things to come.
This is the place.
With that, he points to a surprisingly nice-looking two-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. You notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper-story window. Probably safe to assume that the head of the family is working late, especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire.
Okay, kid. Gotta be gentle about this. I'm talking velvet gloves, soft cushions. You rang, my lord, gentle. Need to get Larson out here without making a fuss or letting his family see us. Blow this, he'll shut down like a speakeasy on raid night. Trust me, I know.
What's the plan?
Tell you what, how about you take the lead on this one? I'm curious to see how you handle it.
Take a step back, look around the area. Lit up window seems like a safe bet. That's just a matter of getting Larson's attention, his and no one else's. You're trying to come up with a viable strategy. You're suddenly startled by a loud noise. It takes a second to identify the sound as a dog's barking. Want to figure out where it came from as a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on a leash comes into view. Feeding opportunity. Man and his dog. You turn towards the man with the dog. Angela gives you a worried look.
Kid?
Shushing him with a gesture, you plunge into the shadows. Crouch behind a well-trimmed hedge. True to his word, D'Angelo follows your lead. You seem too happy about it.
It's not me thinking what I think you're thinking.
You tense up, waiting for the man to get closer, and when he does, you spring from the darkness, grabbing both of his arms and sinking your teeth into his neck. His blood gushes into your mouth, thick with surprise and laced with just enough fear. It's all so quick and yet so sublime. The man goes limp. His best friend does not. The dog goes off on a barking spree that would make a dead man cover his ears. You tear away from your victim, ready to let the beast loose on the hapless canine. D'Angelo, however, is quick to curtail your murderous appetite. The detective approaches the animal. Looking it straight in the eyes, he mumbles something under his breath, an oddly melodic whisper. Mesmerized by the chant, the dog grows quiet, lays on his back, allowing D'Angelo to pat its belly. Suddenly you notice lights turning on in some of the houses. D'Angelo gives you an angry look and points to the unconscious man in your arms.
Get him out of sight now.
Heeding his advice, you hoist the man over your shoulders and carry him to the nearest bush. Just as you're getting up, a very unassuming and slightly unshaven man in a turtleneck approaches D'Angelo. He doesn't seem happy to see you. Are you insane? I mean, I know you are, but this is nuts. Even by your standards, D'Angelo. Glance over to him, and he looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this. Don't interfere. You decide to sit this one out. D'Angelo seems to know the guy well. Should know which strings to pull.
Hey, Larson. Long time no see. Sorry about the bother. New assistant can get a little enthusiastic.
For what? For fuck's sake, D'Angelo, are you still going with the ludicrous role play? D'Angelo lowers his voice ever so slightly. It's subtle but telling. Larson's words clearly got to him.
Listen, man, you know me well enough. I wouldn't have come if it wasn't important.
Larson closes his eyes, takes a long, deep breath, and when he speaks again, his voice is calmer, if not much more friendlier. Fine. What do you want?
It's about Red Hook murders. We think one of yours is responsible.
Bullshit. Duskborn's got enough trouble just staying alive out here. What could possibly make one of them openly violate the Masquerade?
Desperation? Killer's been leaving messages. Whoever they are, I think they know something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way this puzzle fits together.
No, I don't buy it. You're reaching. Trying to find a scapegoat, get in your boss's good graces. Word gets around, D'Angelo. Do you think I don't know who you're working for? Then help us clear your name. What have you got to lose? Everything. I've been at the thorn of the council's side for a while now. This is just the excuse they need to get rid of me.
But if it turns out one of yours did it and you sat on your hands to protect them, think the council won't jump on that?
He looks off into the darkness, pondering his option. He lets out a heavy sigh. Look, I'll ask around, consult my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deductions to yourself. I'm in a trouble as it is.
Deal.
Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my family. And with that, Morrison retreats to the elusive safety of his home. He decides it's best to move along. You walk a couple blocks in utter silence. Angela's mumbling seems to have taken a back seat. Oddly enough, you find his newfound reticence somewhat unnerving. Finally, the Nosferatu stops and turns towards you.
Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I sure could use a drink. Something warm and a tall, sweaty glass.
But first, let me tally your score. Let's see now. You did make a good first impression. I like someone who can talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking's cheap. Bullets, not so much. Held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on my own. But hey, we all can't be professionals. Finally, when the situation came for subtlety, you managed to avoid unwanted attention. Discretion is what separates a private dick from an old one. All in all, you did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Don't let it get to your head. I'll be in touch. Let you know if I hear from Larson. Be ready to meet me in the office. He starts to walk away, but suddenly stops and turns back towards you. And bring a notepad. Every good assistant should have one. I'm gonna stick with the other guy and go, stop role-playing, dammit. Yeah, so pretty much 2 a night. You're walking down the street towards your haven. In some other town, the sidewalks would be deserted this time of night. In NYC, there are plenty of passerbyers going about their business. It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire surrounded by a crowd of humans. The Kindred, many enemies. All those enemies have one trait in common. They're invisible, indistinguishable from normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all like people. Is that old man just a tired restaurant worker or a kindred thrall tailing your movements? Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car, or ordinary cops, or are they the Second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead threats? This kind of thinking leads to madness, but you can't shake the feeling that someone watching you. It's not the first time you felt like this. Whatever this is, it's probably something you take care of. Best case, someone's tailing you. Worst case, you'll be attacked and killed. Unfortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon, and you'll burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven, settle in for the day, disconcerted by the idea that someone might know where you sleep. As you wake from your slumber and emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner looking straight at you. It's Kaiser's lackey, whom you met recently, Jackie. He nods to you, encouraging you to approach. His hands are outside of his pockets. He seems pretty relaxed, keeping his eyes on the street, though, as if making sure you're alone. He smiles awkwardly when you approach. Evening. I got something for you from our mutual friend. Produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. Read it, memorize it, then give it back. It's a letter. The paper might be just a page ripped out of a spiral notebook, but the writing on it is exquisitely detailed, deliberate. It reads, "Time to square your debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street. Ask for the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro." Okay. When they tell you don't have it, say you are a fidel servitor della Familia G. Those exact effing words, and make sure you get the G right. Lord help me if I have to remember those. Get a bottle, just take it, leave by saying grazie. Don't ask how much it is or anything else, just walk out. You have it, come back to Jackie Boy here and let me know, or let him know. Done? Memorize that shit and hand it over. What's with all the cloak and dagger nonsense? Letters, passwords? It's all the cloak and dagger nonsense. That's how the boss likes it. And who am I to argue? I just do what he says. You about done with the letter? You note the phrases, addresses mentioned in the letter. Hand it back to Jackie. He reaches for a light or burns the letter, putting out the ashes with his boot. Why couldn't we just hang on to the letter? So yeah, when you do what the boss asks, back here so I can tell you where to go next. I'll be in the alley over there. So find me when you have an item. Whatever it is, I don't know. The boss made it extra clear I shouldn't care, so I don't. See ya. He shuffles away and leaves you to pursue the lead from the letter. Time to pay a visit to Nolita. You arrive at the address mentioned on the note. Not counting the local restaurant patrons, the street is almost empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Inside, a small, middle-aged woman with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of a wall filled with wine bottles. There's a door at the back of the room with a small table and chair occupied by a man in a black fox leather jacket with slick comb-back hair. He's reading a newspaper, but pauses a little when the bell rings. When we open the door, takes a sip from a small steaming cup, and gets back to his broadsheet. Good evening. How can I help you? Be direct. I would like a bottle of the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negromaro, please. Let me check our stock. He seems to be looking through a database on the laptop sitting on the counter. He puts on a polite smile. I'm afraid we don't have that one at the moment, sorry. Recite the phrase straight and simple. I'm a fidel servitor della Familia G. Ah, in that case, let me see if we have any in the back. Wait here, please. The woman leaves the counter and goes through the doors in the back. The man at the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup, washing it down with a gulp of water from a nearby glass. He tries to hide it, but there's no doubt he's watching you. About a minute passes. You remind yourself of what Kaiser wrote in the letter. Keep quiet, patiently waiting for the woman to return from the back of the store. The man finishes his drink, starts doodling on the newspaper, his eyes darting to you every so often. The doors to the back of the store open, and the proprietor emerges with a small, unlabeled, squat bottle of crimson liquid. She gives you an apologetic smile. Scusi, sorry for taking so long. Turns out we did have it. She offers you the bottle, and you reach out to grab it, but she retracts it. You do know what this is, don't you? Why, it's wine, of course. Well, this is a wine shop, so it's wine, surely. Of course. The best kind of wine. Enjoy. She winks at you. Deciding you've pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store, then take a brisk walk to your car. Nobody follows you as you leave Nolita and drive back to your apartment. It takes you some time to find a parking spot, but you finally get out of the car and start looking for Jackie, not far from where you parted ways just under 2 hours ago. Got the goods? Sure do. Cool. Stand by, gotta make a call. He takes a few steps into a narrow space between the two buildings and Takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carrying last time. Hey boss, yeah, they have it. Where do I point them to? Okay, yeah. I'll tell them to go there right away. He puts the phone back into his pocket and turns back to you. Well, it's point half an hour, so you better step on it. See you later around. With only a flippant salute, Jackie starts walking down the street. You make your way back to the car and drive. You had to push the speed limit to make it on time, but you're here. Its point is quite a change of scenery. The place is a post-industrial dump, the nearby stadium notwithstanding. Stop your car once you realize that if you go any further down, the potholes will kill your chassis. You step out on one of the gashes, and then the asphalt slashing into the ankle-deep water. Kaiser's limo is nowhere to be seen. In fact, the whole place is pretty much deserted, other than the apparent proprietor of a lonely bar, a middle-aged woman, just locking up the place. We're okay. Wait for Kaiser. You stay near your car and decide to wait. Kaiser must be on his way, or if he's not, and instead playing one of his games, then you're not participating. You've got what he wants. Let him come to you. The bright lights of a car pulling over down the road. Some 10 minutes later, catch your attention. It's a black limo. Kaiser is finally here. Scene. Same as last time, the car doors open, but nobody comes out. You know the drill. I'm Kaiser is visible inside. You sit down and close the door behind you.
Oh, so you pulled it off without a hitch, then. Give it here.
You hand the bottle over to the Nosferatu, and corks it gently, takes a whiff, puts the cork back in.
Yes, that's the stuff. I can see you're useful beyond your charm with the subtlety of a battering ram. Good to know. Here's Langley's precious address.
He passes you an envelope with what feels like a thick card inside. Now we're even.
Sure, fledgling. If that's the way you want to see it, I'll send Jackie over if I need anything else from you. How about that? Time for you to get out now.
He waves you out of the car with the envelope in hand. You get out, back onto the torn asphalt and decrepit surroundings. The limo slowly drives away. Finally, you return to Sophie and bring her what she wanted. Gregory lets you in. You hear a shrill, unpleasant laugh, and you realize Sophie's having a guest over. The man from the Elysium, the one with the glasses and good taste in suits. You didn't have the chance to talk to him last you saw him. There's no space right there. Ah, Locum. So glad to see you. Tell me, did the two of you previously meet? Man doesn't wait for an answer. He approaches you with an energetic, almost dance-like step and puts out his hand. Thomas Arturo, I've heard about you. Pleasure, pleasure. Thomas is a great source of gossip. An excellent conversationalist. I also have the princess ear, which is the primary reason dear Miss Langley wished to speak to me tonight. Good gossip, even coming from me, isn't nearly as valued. Sad. Sophie is taken aback by the man's direct comment, but smiles politely. The awkward atmosphere is broken again by the guest's grating laugh. I kid, of course I kid. Well, I was about to leave anyway, so I'll leave you to it. Good night, Sophie. Locum. Greggy boy. I don't like him. Sophie's driver opens the door for Arturo, and the guest steps out. Single wave of the hand towards his host and you. The door closes. He's quite the character, isn't he? Yes, but he has his uses. Thomas has clout in court and access to many juicy details on everyone, from the prince to the lowliest primogen. It's useful to have him on your side, even if his eccentricity requires some patience. Speaking of patience, you have been putting mine to the test lately. Did you manage to contact Kaiser and acquire what I asked for?
What? How did I put your patience to the test?
Yes, but I had to do another job for him first. The data you offered was old news to him. I had to do another job for him because before he would give me this card. He retrieves the envelope from you. I'm sure he did. I do hope it wasn't too much of an inconvenience. I had to retrieve a bottle for him. He made me go to an entirely separate escapade to retrieve a bottle of wine from a store in Nolita. It is code phrases and whatnot. The wine shop. Code phrases. That degenerate pest. He's visibly agitated, but calms down and smiles at you. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that whatever Kaiser had you do, it'll blow over. She opens the envelope and looks at the card. You notice the same lettering you saw in Kaiser's note from before, but can't see the details. Her eyes widen. Yes, excellent. I need to call in some favors. I will likely be busy for the next few nights. You have my permission to show some initiative to your charge. I will contact you soon. That, Sophie ushers you outside, and you are left to do with the rest of the night's hours as you like. Haven't I already been doing that? So somebody's watching me, part 1. Mi abuela. You know what? I don't like being watched. Someone is following you around and has been for a few nights, maybe longer. That can't be a good thing. The only question is, what to do about it. Provoke the stalker to appear, tell Sophie you have a problem. This is clearly something more serious than what you can figure out on your own. Ask Sophie for help. She must have experience with all kinds of stalkers, invisible and whatnot. Make your way to Sophie's apartment feeling watched the whole way. Better if you could just shake the tail, but it tells you that's impossible. A ghoul lets you into Sophie's apartment. You're not sure how many servants she has, but their servility creeps you out. Does vampire blood do that to people, or is it just Sophie's personality? The ghoul tells you that Sophie's not in and bids you to wait in the living room. You do as directed, settling down on a sofa. As you sit contemplating Sophie's decor, you feel strange, as if the feeling of being followed on the street never really left you. You don't have time to think more on this because Sophie strides in clearly in a good mood. If it isn't my favorite stray, am I imagining it, or have you started to dress a little better? I was here literally 5 minutes ago. The night hasn't even rolled over, I'm gonna be honest with you. You stand up, too worried to waste time on small talk. I am being followed. Some creep has been tailing me for a few nights now, and I can't shake them. So you led them here. I appreciate your initiative. This is a cause for concern, to be sure. In fact, Sophie looks around the room, suddenly startled. I can't believe it. Sophie stands up, ready to face whatever danger she senses, and visible force pushes her aside her servant, standing in the doorway. You hear the door to Sophie's apartment open and close. Sophie sighs and settles back down as the ghoul disappears into the hallway in a vain effort to catch the stalker. I suppose I should scold you, but in a town full of Malkavians and Nosferatu, that's probably useless. Sometimes this happens. This is embarrassing. You should be careful. I'll assign one of my servants to watch your haven. You leave Sophie's apartment, chastened and confused. If invisible oarlocks and gestures can follow you anywhere, how are you supposed to stop them? Perhaps it's all part of the game that the Kindred seem to play with each other. Hard to see if that's what makes it better or worse. Let me guess. Rest. Worse. Alright, so we have a nosy reporter. Let's do... Part 2. This is technically part 2. We haven't... Well, wait, that was technically part 2 with him, too. We haven't done these guys yet. Let's go with mi abuela. One of these nights you'll have to buy something. You reflect as you ring the doorbell of the occult bookstore that serves as Agathan's haven. Perhaps something about auras or the tarot. The same sleep-deprived blonde woman you saw on your first visit opens the door for you. Each Kindred has their own servant. Agathan seems to go for the tired Wiccan mom type. It's you. Come in. The woman disappears into the back room, and even as you close the door behind you, lacking any better directions, you make your way up the stairs. At first, you thought the chanting was part of the ritual soundtrack that plays in the shop even at night. As you reach the second floor, you realize it's Agathan's voice. You come up just in time to see him standing in the middle of his ritual paraphernalia, with his wrist cut open over a wrought iron stand holding a blood-red stone. As Agathan chants, blood drips from the wound in his wrist onto the stone. It's as if it's absorbed into it. It's probably not a good idea to interrupt blood rituals, so you wait in silence as Agathan finishes. Just later, he opens his eyes and smiles ruefully. I've done so many of these rituals, I hope it's not too off-putting for you. Agathan smears a bit of his blood over the wound, and you see it close. It looks like he does this often. Barely pays attention to it anymore. I'm cool. I don't mind, we're all vampires here. That we are. He picks up the blood-red stone from its stand. This is a bloodstone. Could be useful. He doesn't seem inclined to elaborate. Anyway, let's go. Pockets the stone, leads you back down the stairs and outside of the car. Soon you're on your way to Queens in the Flushing Meadows Corona Park. After parking the car, you follow Agathan on foot as he leads you deeper into the park. Coming to New York Park in the middle of the night might have worried you. You were alive, but now it's normal. If someone tries to mug you, it just means you'll have an opportunity to feed. Agathan walks with purpose, as if he knows exactly where to go. See the Unisphere, a giant metal sculpture of Earth, lit up so the park goers can appreciate it at night. You're not sure how Agathan picks his ritual spot, but he must have a purpose in mind. The sculpture stands in the background, giving his preparations added dramatic weight. Stand watch while I perform a ritual. It'll reveal whether the notes we seek are here. I'll lose control of the incantation if you fail to keep me free of distractions. It doesn't look like there are any people around. You settle in for a boring half hour while Agathan mumbles and makes strange gestures, spills drops of blood at regular intervals. From the outside, the ritual is not particularly flashy. Agathan repeats a mantra under his breath, walks with measured steps until he stops and turns around, walking back. It looks as if there's an invisible structure he must follow, unseen patterns, limits governing his movements. As choreographs go, it doesn't look particularly difficult to learn, but you suspect there are hidden dimensions of skill and understanding involved. A lone drunken woman walks towards you. Hard to say what she's doing at the park. She's a little older, white, dressed with a suburban divorcee. What's your friend doing? He's kind of hot. The woman's words are slurred by alcohol, but she seems to have decided that you are this evening's entertainment. Hey you, stop being weird. Talk to me. He was determined to walk past you towards Agatha. This looks like the kind of interruption he was worried about. Feeding opportunity. Agathan is deeply immersed in his ritual, so why not use this time you have constructively? You walk up to the woman from behind, grab her by the shoulders, and sink your fangs into her throat. Blood tinged with alcohol and horniness flows into your mouth as the woman moans from the sudden pleasure of the kiss. Oh, I need to sit down. Just as you lick the wound closed, the woman collapses onto the ground, swaying, trying to sit upright. Suddenly you hear a scream of rage. Startled, you turn around just in time to see Agathan running at the woman on the ground, his expression contorted with hatred. Did the woman make enough noise to interfere with the ritual? Doesn't explain why he's in such a rage. Intervene. You step between Agatha and the woman, lift her hands up in an attempt to calm him down. What are you doing? This is not you, Agathan. He looks at you wild-eyed for a second. You're sure he'll attack you. You see him tensing for a punch. Suddenly he snaps out of it, shaking his head, looking for the terrified, drunken woman in disgust and embarrassment.
Thank you. I'm so sorry you had to see that. I usually don't lose control.
What was that outburst?
It wasn't the woman. It was just a coincidence. Something triggered a ward. We have to go now.
Agathan starts running towards his car, and you do your best to follow. Usually Agathan drives more carefully than most humans you know, but now something is different. Speeding, honking at every car that gets in your way. You're driving towards the Bronx. Twice, Agathan has almost collided with another car. It's clearly not used to driving quickly, but something is overriding its usual caution. You screech to a stop in front of a red tile apartment building. Agatha jumps out of the car, starts running, leaving you to take the keys from the ignition and close the doors. He disappears up the stairs, and you follow his agitated shouting.
Abuela, it's me, Javi.
You get to the 5th floor landing after a run that would have left your mortal self winded to find Agathan banging on an apartment door and fiddling with his key ring. You hear the neighbors poke their heads out into the hallway, but nobody intervenes. Agatha finds the right key and slams the door open, running inside. Entering what looks like a home of an old Mexican lady. Portraits on the mantelpiece and a crucifix on the wall. The apartment smells musty with old age, and you detect a faint odor of vampiric blood.
Sylvia, where are you?
You come to the living room to find a body covered by a blanket in the corner of a sofa. The television is on, but the sound is off. It's like a Spanish language channel. Agatha tears at the blanket, pulling it away in a panic. He reveals an old woman waking up in bleary-eyed confusion.
Harvey, what are you barging in like this? Who's your friend?
You're alive, Abuela.
Agatha then hugs the old lady and then turns to you.
You'll have to introduce yourself. I'll check the wards. Something triggered them, and I'll have to see if they are still at work.
Sylvia snuggles deeper into her blankets.
This is vampire business, isn't it? Always when there's trouble, it's the vampires.
Are you a vampire or just know of them? He stared at her, startled. Clearly the masquerade isn't held in this household. Turn it into a joke. Yeah, exactly. Frankenstein is not far behind. Anyway, I'm Locum. You must be his, grandmother?
Frankenstein is not real. He's made up by those people in Hollywood.
Ma'am, it was a joke.
This is about the girl who came to visit. I can tell. Harvey was never good at keeping secrets. So much like his mother.
There's Agatha rummaging around the small apartment, almost as if he's scratching at something on the walls.
Oh, he's always doing that, writing on the walls with mud, making ruins. I tell him to cover them with photos and paintings, but he won't listen. I have to do it myself.
Well, that explains the faint smell of vampire blood in the apartment.
Otherwise, I invite friends for tea and ask questions if I have ruins all over the walls. Don't look like a Christian home anymore.
The girl who visited, was her name Juno?
That's right. Pretty name, I suppose. She was just the kind of girl Agatha used to fall for. She was a vampire, too, I expect.
Are you a vampire? Surprised by the suggestion, Sylvia laughs uproariously, mirth convulsing her aged frame.
Oh, no. Please don't say such things like that. I'm an old woman. Laughing hurts.
Agatha returns to the living room, still agitated.
She wanted to send me a message. Don't let her find the notes first. She'll hurt Abuela.
He glances meaningfully at the old woman.
No, she won't. She gave me a message for you, Hobby. She said to think very carefully whether your clan will really protect your loved ones.
Agatha stares at Sylvia, stunned and confused.
She was here to tell me that? Maybe that's good. It doesn't sound like she wants to hurt you.
She was a nice girl, I can tell.
Oh, Abuela. Locum, let's go. This is all we can do here.
You say goodbye, and soon you're back outside, sitting in Agatha's car.
What a catastrophe. To think Juno was there. The wards trigger when a vampire enters the perimeter, so Juno was just there. Just as I was doing the ritual in the park. I'll take you to your haven.
Agatha starts the car and begins to drive towards Manhattan. He appears agitated, emotions coursing under his stoic face. The Masquerade. What do you think Juno meant by the message?
She's telling me that if push comes to shove, the Camarilla will kill my grandmother to protect the Masquerade. Rather kindred interests. As if I didn't know that.
Agatha's gripping the steering wheel harder than he should, although he's back to his usual careful driving style. Masquerade breach is bad. Vidar and the rest of the Camarilla won't be too happy to hear of a mortal who knows about all of us.
Who's gonna tell him? You?
Continues speaking without giving you time to reply.
You'd be surprised what kind of things those Camarilla stalwarts get up to when no one is watching.
Agatha drops you off in front of your haven. The experience leaves you with a disquieting thought. At Agatha's grandmother under awkward circumstances, but he clearly loves her very much. You don't know enough about the world of Kindred to say whether that's normal or not. It seems to keep Agatha connected to the world in a way that feels alien for some of the other Kindred you've met. Perhaps there is a lesson in that. One more time for mission. Why not? The street lights filter into the apartment in a stark white glow as if someone were shooting a movie outside. The art pieces displays a tasteful expense entirely fitting the image you have of Sophie. It feels as if 1,000 sins have been committed on these premises, most of them under her benevolent hospitality. Sophie comes to greet you as you enter the living room, shaking her head. You understand that people judge me based on how you dress, don't you? You know what? Last night you told me I dressed looked just fine. Sophie looks at your clothes as if resigned to your sartorial limitations. I've had other things to worry about. You know, other than shopping for clothes. Sophie walks to the window and looks out. The street lights playing on her features. She reminds you of a queen contemplating the unfortunate limitations of her subjects. You think this is a vampire, or at least we wouldn't have to worry about the vultures of the press. Unfortunately, when you have a power and ability, there are always parasites trying to feed on you. Is there a reporter after you? Yes. A terribly persistent creature. Sophie steps away from the window and settles down on a sofa, a wine glass with a red liquid in it. Blood treated as not to spoil. You've become good at noticing the scent, even from a distance. She doesn't offer you any as you cautiously sit down across from her. This awful man has been stalking my apartment with the camera. He's gone through my trash, talked to my neighbors. Please be a dear and explain to him that there's nothing for him here. Is this about the Masquerade? That's a big deal for us, right? Indeed. You're learning. Isn't this dangerous? For all, Kindred? Of course it is. If we don't make it go away. Do you know anything about the reporter? Man, woman, young, old, anything like that? All the gossip reporters look the same to me. Time for you to go. I have business to attend to. Wow, you are so super helpful in me trying to help you. Leave the apartment as Sophie disappears into another room. I don't have a clear idea of the game she plays with the city's mortal and immortal power structures, but she always seems to be making a move. Outside on the street, there's a slight warm drizzle, the kind that gets under your clothes and makes you want to take a shower when you get back to your own haven. No reporters immediately jump out to you. Stay put and keep an eye out. For a while, it feels like nothing's happening in New York night. People are walking past you on their way to whatever nightlife diversions help them forget their sordid lives. As you contemplate going back inside and telling Sophie you're not looking for a new career as a lookout, you suddenly notice the lens of a camera pointed at you across the street. Hey! You yell and run across the street. It's a man you're sure you've seen somewhere before. Rotund, pasty, someone who's spent too much time in badly ventilated rooms, stained with cigarette smoke. You enter an alley, a dark, dingy space between two tall buildings. Once upon a time, a place like this might have worried you. Made you think of muggings, violence. Now it's clear that the most dangerous thing here is you. The man you're following seems to realize this too. He holds his camera in front of him like a shield. It's a heavy object resting on his paunch. At the start, you recognize him. You remember the face, the shaded sunglasses, from a picture next to a byline and some trashy paper you were reading the whole time. Something about celebrities, scandals, sex. His name? Frank Doherty. You saw him on the street one time with a camera outside a nightclub, probably waiting for someone important to come out so he could take their picture.
Hey, don't go around scaring people like that.
I recognize you. You're Frank Doherty. I recognize you from that thing. You're a fake reporter, right?
I'm a real reporter, damn it.
A lot of scoops here in this dirty alley.
You can't be a journalist if you're not willing to get your hands dirty. You live here, working on a story about a local resident. Her name's Sophie Langley. Everybody knows her in high society circles. She's a red-haired, pretty as a picture. There were a lot of pictures of her through the years. That's the thing, in fact. Look at this.
Frank pulls out his phone and starts showing you pictures. Some have been downloaded from news sites, while others are photos from the society pages, newspapers from past decades. All show Sophie. She has different clothes, hairstyles, makeup, names, but the face remains the same. Let's inquire. That's strange. What do you think's going on?
Beats me. Well, I'm here to find out.
You must have a theory about what's happening.
I have a theory or two, but before I print my theory, I need facts to back it up. 3 words: extreme plastic surgery. All the celebrities do it. Only your doctor is better than the rest.
You look critically at the photos on Frank's phone. No doctor is that good. Look me up with that miracle doctor. You're looking for a doctor in an alley? I think this is one of those things where you want to aim for making it sound like he's crazy, or I don't know. You're looking for a doctor in an alley? You're thinking the world's best plastic surgeon is working out in this alley?
Okay, fine. I don't know what this is all about. So how would you explain it?
Ancient medicines. It's a hoax. I know Sophie personally. It's a hoax. Have you considered the possibility that those pictures are a hoax?
Sure, anything can be a hoax, but I dug up these old papers from the archives myself. I got to have something usable.
Threaten Frank with legal action. Frank, I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to give you something you can work with. Take it. Frank is clearly taken aback by the change in your tone, but he's a gossip reporter. He's used to people trying to push him.
Look, I'm a reporter. You can bluster, but you can't hide the truth.
You've made a lot of enemies. I'm talking about people much worse than Sophie Langley.
No need for that kind of talk.
Only Frank seems serious. You know he has many enemies and few friends. Desist, and I'll leave you alone. It's your choice. I'm not your enemy. Desist, and there won't be any trouble. Frank is taken aback by the brutality of your tone. He has been intimidated many times before, but he also knows that sometimes the threats are real. This time he senses you are not kidding. Just an aging man trying to salvage a career.
You win. You and Sophie Langley have a happy life.
Deflated, hunched over, Frank drudges away from the alley. Stare at his receding figure. It's hard not to feel sorry for him. And Sophie Langley took on something way too powerful for a small fish like himself. Okay, time to rest. You're welcome, Sophie. Well, dear Alice, that's me. The Sheriff of New York City is knocking at the door of your haven. The sight comes as a little more more than a little shocking. If he had business with you, you either expect to see him already inside, or never see him coming at all. Yet there he is on the other side of the people, patiently and politely waiting for you to let him in. You carefully unlock the door and face him in silence. "Evening. May I come in?" You simply stare at him. Your lack of an answer doesn't faze him, and your lack of resistance as he starts walking inside has obviously been interpreted as permission. Once inside, he starts looking around you as you cautiously stay by the door. "Haven't really had time to make this place your own yet, have you? It feels like Langley's apartment through and through. A secluded study where nobody studies anything. Look at the books on the shelf. Obviously meant to impress guests, not to be read. They reveal nothing about their owner, aside from the aching desire to be taken seriously as an intellectual." He picks one of them up and smirks before putting it down. "The phenomenality of spirit, next to all of this garbage poetry. We can make a bet. If she's read more than 20 pages, I owe you $50 and a gallon of blood." The kind of place that self-professed hermits entomb themselves in to suffer. Considering how much you have to run around these nights, you probably only use it to shelter from the sun and rest, right? Even though he's obviously making an effort to come off as non-threatening, it's impossible to forget the first impression he made. You still see him as a fierce predator, trying hard not to expose his true colors. You sense a familiar fight or flight response as you struggle to find diplomatic answers to his last questions. If Quidor is bothered by your silence, he doesn't let it show. He keeps even walking around, toying with whatever catches his eye, eventually speaks up again. "Watch any baseball lately? If I had to guess, you strike me as a Red Sox fan." Now he's inviting you to talk in a more direct manner. You attempt to overcome your physical reaction to him and reply as casually as you can. "What?" Your mind keeps going back to the night when everything has changed forever. Waking up in hell with a body next to you, spending a night in an underground sweatbox, unsure what would happen next, the endless car ride, 3 strikes, a bloodthirsty crowd, that blade, a rebirth, a baptism by fire, frightening executioner who made sure the flames scarred your spirit. As you look into his face, you realize he's read the emotions from yours. Not in the mood to exchange pleasantries, There's no animosity in his voice, he's just stating a fact. "Well, let me get straight to the point then." Momentarily stops caring about his surroundings, turning all of his attention to you, demanding the entirety of your attention in return. "You see, there's something I've realized over the years. In large part, I may have been hired to look menacing with a sword, but my job is all about seeing through bonds and relationships. The Camarilla would be safe as long as its members adhere to certain social contracts, making their dealings and affinities plain for everyone to see. But that obviously remains a pipe dream. This is a community of born conspirators, overly ambitious gangsters, politicians, monsters in denial, all sorts of tragically broken individuals. They are driven by the desires that makes them incompatible with the Masquerade, incompatible with prolonged survival, the Camarilla, compatible with the methods I used to operate. And so, I am doomed to be like a cop, constantly insulted behind my back, Maybe for good reason, but immediately called for help whenever someone loses their tableware. Or like Agatha Christie protagonist, outwardly assisted by everyone who constantly lied to about everyone's pasts and motivations, even if my failure to solve the mystery might be the end of us all. He tries to sound like he's peacefully resigned to his fate, but it's easy to detect a tinge of regret in his voice. A voice belonging to someone who once had bigger ambitions than this. What broke him? So, you see, for this detective, the why-done-it is far more important than who-done-it or how-done-it. When you understand all the players and their mutual obligations, you easily understand every crime. But of course the Kindred know it, so they devise ways to make my job much harder. Just like conspiracies between two unrelated actors that depend on scratching each other's backs for mutual security. Or they enforce a blood bond to make someone unexpected their thrall, a boss serving their employee, a rebel serving a tyrant just because one is regularly being forced to drink another's blood. What has Sophie seen in you? Why does the prince keep asking me about your actions? How come you're being pushed to build your own coterie so fast?
I'm sorry, what?
You are surrounded by unclear motivations, which you yourself do not understand. That unnerves me, and it should unnerve you as well.
It now does.
You unnerve me. Oh, shit. Why are you here? This monologue has gone on for long enough. What is this about? Finally, you manage to raise your voice. He notices the effort and smiles softly. But you haven't gone mute since the last time I saw you. Good. Well, I'm here for a selfish reason. I need to develop a rapport with you to better fulfill my obligation. The last time we met, I couldn't see you as my equal. Now that you've been accepted into the Camarilla, what choice do I have? I'd understand if you didn't want to see my face again, but I'm one of the faces of New York City community. And as long as you're a part of it, it's going to be impossible to avoid me. Especially when I have business with you. And I do. As you might have guessed by now, one of my tasks is uncovering and understanding your bonds. And one of them might endanger our community. Well, that's not menacing at all. Who is he talking about? Sophie, Coterie, Kaiser? Someone from my coterie? You mean someone I'm trying to recruit? He shakes his head. I'm monitoring them and they know it. If they're breaking the rules, they're doing it the right way, meaning I haven't learned about it yet. Unless you might want to share something. A moment of awkward silence. Joking. Mostly. He produces a file from underneath his coat and passes it to you. This is our troublemaker. Open the file and see some printed photos. You freeze up as you recognize the face and are overwhelmed by a flood of repressed memories. You'll have to forgive me, it's been since day one of this. Anyway, continue. Jessica Lowell, the woman who made the last few years of your life heaven. Last few weeks a living hell. Ah, yes, okay. Your ex-girlfriend. Since she took pretty much everyone you knew with her after the split, you thought the transition to this life would be painless. Baggage at all. You thought wrong. You look up at him, expecting answers. There are some unfortunate rumors that you unalived yourself after a messy breakup. So apparently Miss Jessica here is desperately mobilizing everyone she knows to look for you. Turns out she's contacted a lot of people who might recognize you, including some in law enforcement agencies. The risk of endangering us is relatively low, but far from non-existent, which means she must be stopped. Must be stopped sounds threatening. You dread thinking what he's planning. I'll arrange for you two to meet tomorrow so you can straighten the situation out and say goodbye to your life you've forsaken. He'll arrange what? Your eyes must look like saucers right now. Usually these matters are left to my discretion, and I can't think of an easier solution. The lost sheep reappears, takes care of unfinished business, disappears, never to be seen from again. Nobody cares. It's simple. Clean. No contrived schemes, no unnecessary victims. And it gives me an opportunity to learn more about you as I observe. When neonates interact with kind, they use to hold their deer. The true natures are laid bare for everyone to see. Of course he's invested in being kind to you, or he's making clear his self-serving intentions so that you don't start figuring them out yourself. Any objections? Any alternatives? Or probably worse. You shake your head. Very well. I'll arrange a meeting and drive you there tomorrow. Better come up with a load of bull that's easy to swallow. Disappears from the apartment, leaving you as confused as the last time he closed the door on you. God damn it, you really need to think this through. You know damn well she's gonna try and hug you, and then she's gonna be like you're cold and you have no heartbeat. Anyway, for a long time you just sit in your haven, lost in your thoughts, remembering how you once thought your world had ended with her leaving. Whining, sure, but seems like less incessant whining. Oh, that didn't actually take much time at all. Alright, somebody's watching me, part 2. Part 2. Technically this is like part 3, right? Yeah, the final confrontation between Agatha and Juno is getting near, and Aisling Sturbranch is high. Okay. I guess we'll do this one. Alright. You're in your haven, and someone knocks on your front door. Puzzled, you open it. Agatha stands in the hallway expectantly, as if the 10 seconds it took for you to come to the door was an possible imposition. How did you find me? How did you know this was my apartment? Agatha looks impatient, as if he's explaining the simplest thing in the world. Drove you home last night, remember? They got me in the neighborhood. It's for a specific apartment. Well, you left a hair in my car. I'm sorry, what? Using that, your exact location was a matter of a simple application of sympathetic principles. Shouldn't be strange. Everything we've done together has been about finding things through, thaumaturgy. You follow Agatha down to the street, wondering what kind of revelations tonight will hold. So far, Agatha's rituals haven't been successful at locating the research notes. You've learned a lot about the Tremorian Agathan himself. This time I got it. The problem is, when an old vampire disappears, even from our clan, we're so secretive that it's hard for us to find out what they were up to. Agatha's car is parked at the curb. You get in and he starts to drive. You may have guessed that the notes we're looking for belong to an old member of our house. The problem is, we need them to continue her research. Okay, so what is the research about? I think it's time you told me what they're about. What are you researching?
Well, maybe I can tell you something. Animal blood is disgusting, right? Technically, we can subsist on it, but it tastes vile. We are doomed to hunt humans for blood. The question is, can that be changed?
For a moment, Agatha starts to sound excited, until he suddenly goes silent. Perhaps he's embarrassed at revealing even this much to you. You're getting used to sitting in Agatha's car in silence. Drives, you look out the window, back to Queens. Eventually, you roll up to an industrial area called Willett's Point. It doesn't really look like a place where blood sorcerer would hang out. Agatha parks in front of a car repair shop that looks like it's been seen better days. There are huge puddles of water on the road and car wrecks strewn about.
Better be quick. If I can find this place, so can Juno.
You look around to see if anyone's observing you, but there don't seem to be any people about. And why would there be? Who would hang around in a place like this at night? Agatha tries the front door of the repair shop, then circles around to the back. You follow him. There's a broken window in the back protecting by iron bars. Grabs them and gives them a quick shake. The entire iron grill comes off. Startled, Agatha lowers it to the ground.
I suppose someone else has already broken in. Didn't want to leave an obvious point of entry.
You and Agatha climb in through the window. It's awkward, but not difficult. Looking around, you realize that the repair shop has been abandoned for some time. It looks like homeless people have stayed here in the past, but nobody's currently squatting on the premises. You try a light switch, but nothing happens.
You know the drill. I'll do the ritual in the office, make sure there are no interruptions.
Agatha makes his way to the repair shop's office, a slightly cleaner area than the rest of the building. Begins the ritual in the dark. Stand guard patiently. You lean against the grimy wall. Agatha murmurs the strange words required by his blood magic and takes careful measured steps across the filthy floor. You wait patiently as he performs the ritual. Feels like it takes longer than usual, leaving you time to scan the room. Street lights filter in from the outside, but it's still pretty dark. A ratty sleeping bag lies on the floor. Wonder what a warlock might have wanted in a place like this. There's a small TV on the desk, probably from the 90s. Looking closer, you realize there's a post-it note on the middle of the TV screen. You take it. It reads, "Loser Juno." Agatha stops gesturing.
They're not here. How's this possible?
You show him the post-it note. He takes it and looks it over, and as if suspecting it might hide a devious trick.
She has the nose. And she had to gloat. We have to go.
It feels like you've spent a lot of time recently hurrying after Agatha as he walks briskly in and out of the buildings of his car. He starts the car as you close the door.
We have to go to her haven and get the nose. There's no time to waste.
Despite the urgency of his words, Agatha drives as carefully as ever. It seems that the only threat to his grandmother is enough to make him drive recklessly. What do we do with her? Is she an enemy?
Let's not be hasty. I'm sure we can talk this through.
He doesn't sound too convinced.
Juno's haven is in Brooklyn, in a waterfront warehouse.
He drives south to Brooklyn. This is one of the advantages of being undead. Moving at night, traffic is much lighter than if you wanted to zoom around the 5 boroughs during rush hour. Parking the car, he points to a light coming from an otherwise dark yellow brick warehouse.
That's her. Let's go in.
Would reusing the front door really work, or would she be expecting to go around? Use the front door. No time to get fancy. You go into the front door of the warehouse. The door has glass panes so you can see the inside of the warehouse. There are candles and ornate ring of occult symbols covering the entire floor. Juno is sitting in the middle with an enamel wash basin in front of her and is peering into it. You try to listen, but it's difficult without making yourself conspicuous at the pane. You have to talk to her. Agathan tries to break down the door by ramming into it with his shoulder. It's flimsy and breaks with surprisingly little effort. Agathan, just in time.
Juno, you have to stop. Hand me the notes.
Oh, Agathan, you're such an idiot. This is beyond you now. I'll give you one last chance. Come with me. Forget Aisling and her power games. Join me, and you can become your own man.
What?
Agathan seems genuinely flabbergasted at the suggestion. Hand over the notes. If you escape with them, the Tremory will never stop hunting you. Juno ignores you and continues to talking to Agathan. Please, Agathan, it's not too late. Come with me. The only furniture inside the ritual circle is a folding chair with an old stained folder bulging with papers. Juno notices your eyes dart towards it before you have time to move. She grabs it with her hand. You're not Tremory. You don't know those cowards like I do. They talk tough, but they aren't afraid of monsters in the night. The same as everyone else. She sighs. She doesn't look surprised at Agathan's refusal to come with her. I would have felt badly if I hadn't offered you the chance.
Come back to the chantry, Juno. Talk to Aisling. You'll see that this is not a good idea.
You glance at Agathan with concern. You're no sorcerer, but fighting Juno in the middle of a ritual circle doesn't seem like a good idea. 2 words, screw you. Presence. Please give us the notes. Celerity. Grab the notes from Juno. Presence. Let's try presence. Just please give us the notes. We won't stop you from leaving. Juno's shoulder slump. I'm tired of the fight. I'm tired of having to bust my ass for some asshole like Aisling. I want a new life, away from all this crap. Juno waves the folder in her hand. Maybe I should just give this to you. He walks towards you, and you put your hand on the folder. But by then, Juno's eyes brighten with realization. You're manipulating me, you fucker! You slap your face, and you feel as if your insides have suddenly caught fire. You open your mouth, but no sound comes out. Finally, you focus on the feeling of Agathan's hand on your shoulder, and you realize you lie sprawled on the floor.
Alright, can you speak?
The pain is receding, but you feel like shit, hurting all over and barely able to walk. It'll take a lot of blood to mend from this state. Agathan supports you as you walk back. He's smiling. You notice the folder under his arm.
She got away, but I got the notes. I'm sorry you got hurt, but it was worth it.
Worth it? You tell him a thing or two about your view of the situation, but your tongue is momentarily a lump of charcoal in your mouth. It's in silence as Agathan drives you back to Manhattan. Traffic in the small hours is mercifully slight. You consider your next words. What will happen to her? Is your clan really going to let her go?
Maybe. I don't really know. We have the notes, and that's what counts.
Sounds also almost as if he wanted Juno to escape. Perhaps it really was about the research for him. You reach the occult bookstore. After Agathan parks the car, you head inside. Climb to the second floor to find Aisling Sturbridge waiting for you. She looks surprisingly casual for someone with such power. You have good news, I hope.
Yes, we have the notes.
Agatha hands over the folder. Aisling caresses the cover with obvious joy. Wonderful. You did not disappoint. What of Juno?
We were not able to stop her. She escaped.
Well, no matter. Agatha, you proved yourself yet again. And Locum, looks like the pyramid has a good friend in you. Accept the compliment in silence. You nod, saying nothing. Agatha looks relieved. You leave the bookstore with praise ringing in your ears. Even the taciturn Agatha manages a smile. You have no idea what will happen with the notes, but you feel that you've reached an understanding with him. Perhaps that's enough in the world of backstabbing and betrayal that you now inhabit. Let me guess, rest? We're only able to really do one thing tonight. Okay. Alright. Oh, it is time to take a break. So without further ado, hopefully you guys did enjoy part 2 of this. And there's more to come. So if you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Okay? It'd be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, tune in for part 3 tomorrow. Alright? So, time for a save, and I'll catch you all then. Have a good one.